Now that goes along with linear regression. Before we can get our regression equation, we need to talk about scatter plots. Now, scatter plots, very easy concept to understand. You get a bunch of points and you plot them all on a graph. Okay, so let's see. A scatter plot may look something like this. I don't know what variables go down here. I don't know what variables go here, but there's a scatter plot. Just a bunch of points scattered all over the place. Now remember, we are dealing with bivariate data. So let's go back to our height and weight example. Down here could be the height. Over here could be the weight. You could switch them, doesn't matter. So the taller you are, usually the heavier you are, okay? So what we did here was we went around, we surveyed however many dots I have up here. Let's just say 20. I didn't count how many were up there. Let's say we surveyed 20 people. We measured their heights. We measured their weights. And then all we did was graph it. Now we're not going to have to make scatter plots by hand. What we're going to do is have the calculator do this for us. We have gone through the sequence of commands to plot stuff before on our calculators. It is very much the same as what we've done before. If you look at that first example there, we want to look at the average hours of sleep that a student gets, and we want to compare it to their GPA. So this is the average amount of hours a student sleeps throughout the semester each week. Or sorry, not each week, each day. And then we see their GPA. We want to know, if you get more sleep, do you have a better GPA? If you get less sleep, do you have a better GPA? Is there no correlation at all? Are they not related one bit? So go ahead and pause the video. Enter in the data values into your calculator. So hit Stat, go to Edit, enter the average hours of sleep into list 1. See, average hour of sleep into list 1. And then GPA scores into list 2. Now, like always, you should take a look at your list, make sure you entered in all the data values correctly. Now, hit your second Y1. So, second, and then, or sorry, not Y1, your Y equals button. And you want to go to option number 1, plot 1. You want to turn it on, and it's that very first option that I have blinking right there. That's a scatter plot. So you choose that one, and it'll ask you X list and Y list. So here you're going to put L1, here you're going to put L2. And from here, you're going to hit the zoom button, and you're going to hit 0. So zoom, and then hit 0, because that will give you a zoom stat. Oh, my fault, not zoom 0, zoom 9. Zoom 9. And what you should end up with is a scatter plot like that. Now you could look at individual data points if you hit your trace button. It's right here, hit your trace button, and using these arrow keys, you could sit here and scroll through all the data values, and if you look at the bottom, the numbers are changing. So making scatter plots is very simple. Again, we're going to have the calculator do all of the work. You just got to make sure you put in the numbers in right. So scatter plots show the direction of the relationship between the variables. So for instance, if I were to have a scatter plot that looked like this, this is a positive relationship. Because as one variable goes up, the other variable goes up. So that's a positive relationship. Whatever it may be, just a random scatter plot. It's sloping downwards. This is a negative. It's a negative relationship. And then, if you were just to kind of, oops, that's not a dot. No relationship. So we're gonna talk about how closely, like if we have a positive relationship, how closely are these two variables related to each other? If we have a negative relationship, how closely are they related to each other? Just because it looks like this doesn't mean they have no relation. Just because it looks like this and looks like that doesn't mean, okay, if they look like that, they probably do have some relation. But like the scatter plot we just drew on our calculator, let's see, let's take a look at it one more time. I mean, it kind of looks like you could draw a line going through here, right? They're not scattered all over the place. Like, I don't see anything up here. I don't see anything down here. Are those two variables really related? We'll find out. So let's go ahead, and this is the last example of this section. You could pause the video, try it on your own, and then unpause it and look at what I got for my scatter plot and compare. This one I actually don't have typed in on my calculator, so I got to take a moment, type it in, and that would be it for this section. Like I said, this chapter is relatively short. We're going to get through it pretty quickly. See, I'm going through, making sure I entered everything in right. 10, 3, 9, 9, 12, 15, 3, 7, 8, 2, 0, 3, 2, 1, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Okay, I think I got it. So, see, I didn't even read the scenario. Let's see. A random sample of 10 professional athletes produced the following data where X is the number of endorsements the player has and Y is the amount of money made in millions of dollars. So they're saying if an athlete has more endorsements, they're going to make more money. Okay? Seems plausible. Let's go ahead and find out. So, X is endorsements. Y is money made. This I'm going to put into list 1. This I'm going to put into list 2. And then I'm going to hit the second button. And then I'm going to hit the Y equals button. Really, you don't have to do all these steps over and over again, because if your stat plot, your first stat plot, if it already has scatter plot selected and list 1 and list 2 already selected, you could cut this process down a little bit. You see how stat plot 1 is highlighted up there? If you go up there and click enter, I just turn the stat plot off. So if I go up there and click enter, I just turn the stat plot on. So since I already know that my plot 1 is set to scatter plot, anytime I want to make a scatter plot, all I have to do is go and change the data. I don't have to hit second, y equals, go through this menu, go to number 1, select x list, y list. You don't have to do that every single time. So after you get your data in, you just hit zoom 9. And if you look at what we have here, you can see that definitely a positive relationship is going up. Okay, it seems like it's pretty tightly packed together too along this if you were to draw an imaginary line. So that's the idea in the next sections. We're going to be finding those equations of what we call the best fit. What is the best fit line for the data that we have?